We're doing really well this evening in whatever we are doing, whatever we are up to. And today is the 26th, Tuesday the 26th. 5-6 days left of the transfer window. Now, today we did a show today. We did an amazing show yesterday about Ruben and what we all think about him, and we've spoken about it, and we've done that to death. Now, I suspect that this may come up again tonight, but under a different circumstance. Feel free to get into the live chat, whatever you do, whatever you're up to. This is an amazing community that we're starting to build. We're pushing away now to 10,000 subscribers. Feel free to get into the chat. As I say, I always say this: I'm not a dictator of the chat. Hopefully, the chat will back me up on that one, as pretty much as they always do. The only thing I will say, and I insist on, is where Garnacho, what the situation is with him. I don't know if this is a tactical move by Chelsea to try to make us lower that price or try to force that movement. As I've always said in this deal, is that for £25 million, the likes when he's Lopez are offering 50 million, I think is an absolute P take. It goes to show what they think of the player. And the optics are so important, because if United were to take such a low ball offer here, I think the damage caused here would be irreparable in terms of the short term. I think the damage here for me would be an irreparable thing, on the basis that, imagine you've got a young player with all that Premier League experience, and Chelsea are offering 50 for Simmons. They bought João Pedro. They bought all these different players, and they want to lowball us for 25 to 30 million. He's worth 50 to 60 million. So I'm glad that United are holding firm. The problem is here: do we have to sell to buy? I don't know. I know from a PSR perspective that we're apparently okay. So from a PSR perspective, we're absolutely fine. There is no issue for us on a PSR perspective. But we do need to balance the books. At the end of the day, we do need to balance the books. So from FFP, we still need to balance the books. I don't know if a Garnacho sell is an absolute must. But as of tonight, as of right now, it looks like Chelsea are not going to get their way. United are holding strong, which I think is the absolute correct and right thing to do. And the Chelsea move for Garnacho looks like it could be off, because they've gone in with Barcelona, 50 million. Now this for me would logically stack up, and I should tell you for why. Barcelona need this money. It would ease their financial issues. Chelsea know this. So have they gone and lowballed Barcelona as well? Scott Brown says, hi JB, hello, legend of the chat, and we're one of the mods, absolute legends of this chat. So I don't know if this has been on other channels. I don't know what you've watched tonight, but for me, I think people shouldn't sleep on this one. I think this could be a big deal. I don't think Chelsea go for Lopez and a Garnacho. I think it's either or. Simmons as well looks like it's now off. And I think that Chelsea are trying to get a low ball. It's no coincidence that Chelsea have gone to United, who they know need the money, with a player that they know we don't want and a player that doesn't want to play for us. And they've gone to Barcelona, and they know Barcelona need the money. They absolutely do. So they've gone in and lowballed them as well on a play. It's probably worth 60 to 70. Angel says, hi, I'm watching you from Zambia. Hello, my friend. Amazing. What I'm loving about this community is that we're becoming worldwide, right? I absolutely love this. And this is all because of you guys in the chat. This is the likes. 69 you watching. Give us a like. Double click. Just a quick like, and it really helps push this amazing community out. If you're on here often, what we do here is we are logical. I'm not a dictator of the chat. I'm very well, my friend. I'm very well, and I hope you are well as well. I'm not a dictator. I come on. I'll give you my opinions and stuff. Doesn't mean that I'm right. I am not a. I need you to. I'm here to support your brother. That is amazing. This is what I love to do. This is because we've got such an amazing community. Not only do you support me, I will never be able to repay you for that. I can try to repay you by doing this, and hopefully it brings you, brings you to this community, brings you to these amazing people in here, and we all support and we all do what. And this really is a channel where I don't just say it. The reactionary stuff and the things I say and do are real. So Garnacho, get your opinions in on it. Get your opinions in on him. Hello, I'm watching from South Sudan. Amazing, Yashri. Thank you so much again. This is amazing. Let me know where you're from. I love to know this community now is reaching so many different places. Again, you guys come on here and it just blows my mind that you guys give me your time, give this community your time. It's just amazing. So this is what we do. We come on here, we talk about it. You guys get your opinions in. I can respond to that as well. Just get in this chat because you lot are amazing. Why should we lower our prices for Garnacho? We paid 55. John O'Connell, perfect, mate. I agree with you completely. And this is what I mean about the optics. And when I'm talking about that, and I keep saying that word, is when you're a brand, when you're as big a club as ours, and irrespective of whether you need the money or not, the Mason Mount thing as well, for me, we were stupid enough to do that deal. That's our fault, right? But they knew what they were doing, and they're very good at offloading their players. So it's about time that Chelsea got played at their own game. Now, this is not aimed at their fans at all, by the way. Their fans very much like ours. They don't dictate what happens. Geordie J, welcome to the chat, my friend. As a neutral, you devalued you devalued him at the end of the season, and the fact you removed him from the first team means of value is reduced. I agree and disagree with that. If I don't know, obviously, if you're a Newcastle supporter, what a team last night, mate! What an absolute joy to watch you last night. I thought Newcastle, 10 men. You didn't have a striker on the pitch. I thought you were magnificent last night. Gutted really to see you not at least draw that game. I thought you deserved to win. What a performance! I love those games. What in the past 20 odd years, your games against Liverpool have been absolutely phenomenal. I remember the games with Ginola, Aspria, all those sorts of games. Albert, amazing team. I thought last night it was so unfortunate not to at least draw or win that game. It was criminal. So, fine. I agree and I don't agree. So where I agree with you on that one is that if Garnacho was worth 70 million, right? And the reason why I say he's worth that is because from my perspective, if you look at his age, his experience, what he can bring, the goal so far, and you look at the age and you spread that over X amount of years, he's worth that amount of money, right? You're right, though. We devalued him, and that is what we did. I cannot disagree with that. But to devalue him to 25 million, I disagree. I think it's an absolute P take by them. We've devalued him to probably 40 plus 5, 40 plus 10, but he's still a 45 million to 50 million pound player. No matter what you do, right? When you got a player like that, yes, you can devalue a player, but he's not. Absolutely not. But I do take the opinion. No, it's interesting to hear as well what other fans from other clubs think about that. But it just, in my opinion, I just think that he has devalued himself from being top tier price to probably being around that 40 to 50 million mark. And Chelsea want to take advantage of that to the nth degree, because that is what they do. So, I think it's a really logical comment to say, and I do agree, but I just think that valuation is absolutely wrong. Stephanie, thank you so much. 65 yet, just hit on that like button. It's so important. So John O'Connor says Chelsea have spent 244 million plays this year and made over 200 million in sales. One of those games, I guess, but thanks for the I suppose, Geordie, mate, it's honestly, what a game. Newcastle, what a team. If you can keep that up, you're going to go far this season. It's definitely everywhere game when you onto you. Scammering. So DJ Superfly says Scammering is sabotaging us. I don't think he's doing it on purpose, mate. We had this conversation last night, right? And I'm not dismissing your comment at all. I just think that right now, I think it's too early. I really, really do. I'm not going to dismiss your comment to say that, his choices right now they baffle me. I don't think he's sabotaging us on purpose, but I can't right now work out what he's trying to do. Is he treating these 3 games as a pre-season? I don't know. So I think sabotage is probably the wrong word, but I can see why you'd absolutely say that. I just think it baffles me what it is he's trying to do. Geordie says, I love to have Højlund at Newcastle too. I think Eddie would improve him. I agree with you, Geordie. Højlund, for me, I'm devastated a bit, to be fair. I'm devastated for him. I like the player. Whether he's good enough or not, I think that remains to be seen. But again, I agree. I think if he went to what he needs time away from us. And I think Newcastle would be fantastic for him. But Napoli, I think, will be the place, and I think he would do amazing stuff there, and Champions League. But again, he'd have Champions League there as well. So, but I don't think we wanted to sell to a rival. Keep Mainoo and get rid of Fernandes. I think in time, I agree with you. I do agree. I think Fernandes, I wouldn't necessarily say get rid of Mainoo for him. I think we keep him and bring in another centre midfielder. But I do agree, Bruno's not going to go now. There is not enough time. But apparently, Fernandes is saying that he's going to go next season. Well, in my opinion, F off now then. Why are you deciding to go next year? This is not like you've got a contract. We pay you a massive amount of money. If you don't want to be here, there is the door. No player is bigger than this club. It's good news on Anthony going on a permanent deal. I agree, John. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's about right. I think we're going to have to do a sort of, not a funny deal, but we're going to have to kind of do a deal whereby, they can't afford it, but we're going to have to do some sort of deal, some weird deal, but he's gone, so I'm happy. And I'm a footballer. My dream is to play for United. Angel, all you've got to do, my friend, is work very, 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 very hard. Stay humble. Stay true to yourself. And even if you don't end up playing for this magnificent club, I hope you do. And if you do, and you make it, I don't know how old you are, but if you do make it, come back on here with me and give me an interview on that. I believe in you. I think people can achieve anything that they want to achieve if they work hard. If you work extremely hard, then you can achieve anything. Is possible. Let's start with the Bruno hate. I think he's played that position. Bruno at 10. Yeah, I mean, from me, you're never going to get hate. I think for me, people are jumping on his back. I don't think there's anything wrong with criticising him, but I agree. He's here. He's going to frustrate the hell out of us. He's going to frustrate the hell out of me, but I will support him. until he leaves this club, I will support him. If he plays bad, I'll say it. He's the captain of his club and he needs eyes on him, but he also needs support. And he needs to know he's got the support of the fan base until we decide to part ways. DJ Superfly Guy says, another season wasted and he's clueless, stubborn to his craft. Interesting. You're not alone. You are not alone in this. But I still say, from my perspective, I want to give him at least another season. I want to give him this season, and I may be wrong. I will always hold my hands up. I don't hide away from anything that I say. I may be wrong on this one, but if I am wrong, then it means we're not right. So I think there are 2 games in. I think let's get through Grimsby, let's get through Burnley, let's get through City, let's get through the Chelsea game, and then let's see where we are and if we start to progress as a team. If we don't, I don't think we're going to start to see probably where we are, probably till game 15. So I think he just needs time and patience, but I really do get it. People are frustrated. People are tired of seeing the same old stuff. I get it. I was very much of that opinion as well, but I just think let's do something different. And you may not agree with that, but let's do something different in terms of let's get behind this coach. And if we do that and he fails, at least we as a fan base can say, look, mate, we give you the time, we give you the support, but it's still not right. And then I'd be more than comfortable, for me personally, to say goodbye. Mainly to Brighton and Belieber are part of the deal, possibly. Good night to bro. See you tomorrow. So that's where we are. So Garnacho, Ruben should have a backup. John, exactly, my friend. I think tactically he needs to be better. He's very, very stubborn, and that stubbornness is going to be the downfall of him. I really hope it's not, but it could be. If you are watching, don't forget to press the like button. Just give us a little like. Don't be scared to get into the chat if you're a rival fan club. Just as long as you are respectful, get into the chat. If not, then you'll be blocked. So it's not. It's worth your time. How about the Gunners? Oi, how you doing, Benja? Welcome to the chat. Liverpool and Arsenal are doing things that winners do. I haven't been impressed with Arsenal. They've only played. Arsenal have only played one good half. So they were awful against us, but they won. They weren't awful against Leeds, but it took them another half to really sort of get into their stride. The caveat for me, sup folks, was cooking, AKS 97. We are cooking we're cooking with a Garnacho. Might not be going and he might be staying. Benja, I love Arsenal, but we are a glorified set piece team at the moment. What I'll say about Arsenal right now is that against us, it's just the first game of the season, right? But what that win with Leeds will do is it will give you confidence, right? You weren't particularly great in the first half. And Benja, it's nice to talk to an Arsenal fan with a bit of sense. But that second half, even though you didn't play particularly well, you still win games, right? And then second half, Leeds just capitulated. And then Arsenal went, do you know what? We can win this game. Eucharist, for me, he's a good striker because he's not playing particularly well, but he scored 2 goals. That first goal that he scored was an absolute striker's goal, right? He's not been playing well. First chance he gets, bang, goal. And what I liked with that performance was Rice, when he picked up that ball, I said to myself, I hope he gives it to Gyökeres to score. And he did. So I think Arsenal are going to play themselves into form. They're winning games. So I think Arsenal are going to be fine. I think that game will give them confidence, and I think you'll see them battling for the league. Do I think they win the league? I don't know. I would have said no before the start of the season. But look at Liverpool yesterday. I didn't think they were particularly good. They again, they're playing like winners. I think we're not going to be able to tell until probably game 7 or 8 about where we think the teams are. So I think right now, I think it's between. I think you've got to say Liverpool, Arsenal, City will come back into it. They always do. So I still think it's Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and it's who can have the least injuries as well. But I think you take your pick from those three right now. Let's have a little look. And don't agree with Eze having the number 10. I'm not. Yeah, Eze. I think Eze could be the difference maker. I really do. I think Eze's really shrewd. He's a really, really smart signing. So I think Arsenal are going to have a really, really good season. Belieber is a great pick for United, but don't let it get to his head, which seems to be the issue with United. Yeah, I mean, for us, I'll come back to that, Benja, because I think that's an interesting comment. Top 3 is good. As United, we have finished lower in the league than you, but we want more. But consistently produces great players. Ronaldo, what do you think? Who will win Ballon d'Or? It's a very good point, actually. I think Yamal's got a chance. Is Rafinha up for it? I can't remember who's up for it. I can't remember who's up for it, to be honest. I think Yamal maybe could be the guy. I can't remember who won the Champions League final. PSG, wasn't it? Maybe somebody from PSG. Maybe somebody from PSG. I think the win is going to come. I think Lamine Yamal could possibly win it just because of the age and the name, and they sort of need a new figurehead, don't they? I think it will come from PSG. I do. I think it will come from PSG. Inter, maybe they've got a little bit of a shot as well. Liverpool, a couple of players, but I think for me, PSG. I think the win is going to come from PSG, but Yamal for me could possibly be the one. Usman Asgar says everyone is saying if United finish around 8th, it's a good season. Considering you brought 2 out of the top 5 scorers in the last league and only play 1 game week, it's terrible return after spending 200 million. Usman, I think that's a very good observation. I think that's a very fair assessment. I'll give you my opinion now on that one. Is that I tell you for why 8th is good. We were 15th last season, the worst side that we've ever had, right? To go from 15th to 8th, in my opinion, is good. We've still got the same team, the same mentality, the same weak IQ players, the weak mentality players. But what you got to understand is we're spending 200 million to catch up with the players already. Liverpool, let's take out net spend for a second, right? Net spend completely counts, right? But I'm just talking about the money spent on players, because I think that's important when you're looking at if you don't play players and they go anyway. So that's a relevant point for this, right? Liverpool are spending close to 350 million on players, right? 5-6 players. We've bought 3 players. We've needed to replace 10 of them, right? We needed to spend 200 million pounds just to even do something in this league. We probably need the best part of £1 billion spending on this team again. And yes, we've already spent that of our own money and we've wasted it completely. So that's why we do need a whole new team, right? And yes, we were going to play 1 game a week, but also don't forget when you're looking at Cunha in Burmo, right? Is that, and this is where I think the football inside is a little bit thick, right? You cannot, what I think they think is if you take Cunha and his goals and Burmo and his goals, when you take them to a club, that's going to translate into the same goals, the same assists. It doesn't. It really, really does not translate. So Cunha and Burma, again, are going to take time to gel. You know, they're going to take time to gel into this team. And we've not got players up to their standard as well. So I completely get your point on it. I can't disagree that we need to expect, but it's not just 200 million and you go and win a league now. Liverpool spent 350 million just on players. City have gone and spent like 200. Arsenal has spent that as well, but they're so far like ahead of us. 200 million is a drop in the water. So I get what you're saying, but it's 2 games now. But I think it's very naive just to go, you spent 200 million on 3 players when you need basically another 10 and you should be finishing 4th. I just think it's a very naive opinion. I think it's a valid opinion, but I just think you need to look beyond the value and you need to look beyond, you know, you spent this money on 2 players who were the best 2 players in their teams, but that doesn't translate. Football is not like that. It's very, very rare that you take 2 players from a top team with, I don't know, 15 and 20 goals, 35 goals, and then they score that in this team. That just doesn't happen. I mean, I'd say that between them, they maybe 50% of the goals from last season. I don't think is going to translate into this team. Martin Fay says, well, what about Galatasaray going in full amends? No. Martin Fay, no. 100% not. He's coming to us. He's going to come to us, and I'm not going to change from that. I'm easy on that, mate. He terms have been agreed. I think we're waiting till the end of the window to announce it, just in case we don't get any more signings. Giles says, big day for Norwegian football. Spalding Glimp has managed to get to Champions League. I think it's 70. Wow, that is amazing. Congratulations to them. You know, I think that's an amazing achievement. You know, I think it's so difficult to get into Champions League. You know, we can't do it. I know our league is difficult to get into, but for Glimt, I mean, the revenue for them is going to be amazing. So congratulations to them. I remember when they were in it the last time as well. So congratulations to them, and I hope they can go as far as they possibly can. Cunha is a good fit. I agree with you, Benja. Should have Belieber and Joe Pedro at the same time. Yeah, I agree. Hisham says, hi. Hello, my friend. Simon says, Jesus defeated the devil on the cross. Amen. Thanks, Mark. But genuinely, my friend, this is not the place for that. I no affiliation in regards to that sort of stuff. You know, it's just isn't, you know, that is not the place for that, my friend. I miss Pogba. United Hashim. I don't. I really don't, my friend. Pogba for me was a conundrum. I thought he was a scapegoat for a lot of problems. I don't think he was the problem with hindsight, but I don't think he was the player that people thought he was. Maybe he was used in the wrong way. You know, his ego again got in the way. He was not consistent. Injury. I like the idea of Pogba. I really, really do. But I don't miss him. He didn't really bring anything to this team as such. Who's the captain? Casemiro. Fernandez, my friend. That was a scare. Football's been around before Jesus. Exactly. Ishmael says, you keep referring to Arsenal and Liverpool City as the benchmark. They aren't your rivals anymore. You challenge for 10 years. You will finish 6th this season. No, I disagree. Usman, where I disagree with you completely on that one, my friend, and this is a respectful thing, is that we are the biggest club in England. We're one of the biggest clubs in the entire world. I demand that this club finishes first every single season. I will say that Arsenal, Liverpool City are our benchmark, are our rivals. They are. Even if we're nowhere near them right now, that is the standard that we need to keep up. You know, there's no point in if you're at a club like ours, right? MMU, Amorin or Ten Hag, Amorin, easy peasy. If you're going to set standards in your life, and this could apply to anything in life, you know, if you want to aspire to be the top surgeon, the top doctor, the top accountant, the top football player, the top window cleaner, right? You've got to start somewhere, and you've got to aspire to be the best. You may not be in the league, but you've got to aspire to be the best. Now, we were the best for a very, very long time. We've fallen. We've lost our way because of owners who are disgusting. But we have to keep those standards that we set these standards. If we let these standards drop, then we drop and we become an irrelevant club. I demand that we finish first every single season. I demand Champions League football. I demand we win the Champions League. Right now, we're not in the place to do it, but we have to maintain those standards. You know, Arsenal need to maintain those standards. Liverpool, when Liverpool were finishing 6th and 7th, and I used to speak to their fans. They demanded every season that they thought that they were going to win the league, not because they thought they would, just because that is the standard that we set for each other, and that's the benchmark. They are the benchmark. We are their rivals. We have to maintain that we are their rivals. I don't think we'll finish 6th. I really don't. But I think your opinion is a very interesting opinion. I think it's a valid opinion, but I think if you are a United fan, I think you have to disagree with that comment, and you have to be logical. You have to keep the passion, and you have to go and just keep on trying to be the best. He hated United. I like to see them struggle. I can't lie, bro. Do you remember Van Nistelrooy? He was quality and world class. Hashim, I am 42 years old, my friend. I remember before the Premier League started. I used to watch matches in 1988, 89. I sort of remember them slightly in it. From about 89, 90, 91. That's where I remember watching football. I remember watching the 94 World Cup. I remember watching Italian 90. I remember watching the 92. I remember when the Premier League started, being excited for the Premier League. I remember Ruud van Nistelrooy when we signed him. I remember we were going to sign him the year before, and then he did his knee. And then I remember when we came back in for him, and he was an absolute revelation. He was just an absolute legend of this club. And I remember everything about that period. I remember everything about that time. It's an absolute amazing play. Bruno benched and Sesko starts the next game. Oxius, I think if that's your name, I do apologise. Yes, I agree. Ten Hag showed no emotion. Yard Mandy says, is there? Yes. So, and this is coming from Mike Keegan, okay? So I'll come on to that now. So Mike Keegan, who is a reporter, he's a journalist for the Daily Mail, or the Daily Fell, as it's called here, because they're pretty much crap. But again, he's well respected. He's reporting that Kobbie Mainoo could be under a loan for Madrid, a loan for Atletico as well. They're really interested in this player. Now, it wouldn't surprise me. Now, I've written down some stats, just some overview stats, just to tell you why I think that you guys are right about him and why I think that he needs to play. So, take-ons, and this is, so say you're looking at a percentile from 100% being the best. Okay, so anything, say 80 something and up is pretty good, right? So for take-ons, he's in the 90th percentile, basically making he's one of the world's best. At touches in the opponent's box or in the opponent's half, he's 92%. So he's one of the best at taking on players, one of the best at touches and getting the ball and touches. Progressive passes, 84. So again, 90, 92, like 84. Tackles, he's 72, which 72 is not bad at all. So if you are looking for a progressive ball carrier, which we are, and many of you have been saying that he should be playing as the number 8, the stats don't lie. Obviously, there are more stats, and this is just from FBR Ref. But if you look at his stats, Kobbie Mainoo as a number 8 right now with what he's doing, he is a number 8. There is no doubt right now he is a number, and he is up there as one of the best in Europe as a ball carrying, progressive passer of the ball who takes on people, who will get us up that pitch. And that is exactly what we need in a number 8. And it is criminal if he gets a loan to Madrid, because I know exactly why Madrid would want him. 20 years old in April, so he's not even 21 years old. This kid has got so much potential. So I know Amorin, that this Fernandez obsession and Mason Mount obsession is going to get him sacked. We had this conversation last night, and it was an amazing chat. But for me, Kobbie Mainoo needs to stay. So I'm hoping that Mike Keegan is wrong. He's a respected guy. But I'm just hoping that there's nothing in this, and I would question Amorin. So for me, it would be a red flag. I want Mainoo to stay. Lots of us disagree on it in terms of, if Amorin thinks he's not good enough, then he goes. But I just think that if that is the case, I think get him on loan and then get him back. But we need centre midfielders. I don't think we go into Simon. The thought of Casemiro playing. My worry right now is he lets Mainoo go or on loan, and then Mason Mount goes into that centre midfield position. It will be a disaster. And many of you, because I'm Amorin in, and I will support him for as long as I can, but those of you who are Amorin out, if he plays Mason Mount in that centre midfield position, I'm baffled. I'll be baffled by that decision, and Amorin's going to have to live and die. Is there any truth in Kobbie to Madrid? What I've just come on to there, Emmy. Secondly, only if accepted alone, and Camavinga comes to us. But yeah, if we let Mainoo go, we need a centre midfielder in return, or we need to get something, because we need one. Joel, legend of the chat, there was a story that both Madrid clubs want him on loan, but I do not think it's a true story from Mike Keegan. He's very up and down with what he says. Exactly, Joel. Exactly, man. I agree with you. The last story I did see that United are not selling, doing anything with Mainoo, and he wanted to stay at the club. And Joel, I hope that's right. What we are getting now, and I've done some posts on it, is that sensationalist, right? Everybody wants us to fail. But, you look at Liverpool last night, like, this is not a dig at their fans or but this is just the media saying that Liverpool, they are winning like champions. Arsenal scrape past us. Again, that is, I've said it as well. But it's the mark of champions that they're winning when they're playing well. Newcastle have got 1 point, right? But again, they played well last night. We played well against Arsenal, but Newcastle are going to be fine. They're playing really well. But we've played 2 established Premier League teams. We played Arsenal off the park, 22 shots to their 5. Great game. Fulham, established Premier League team. Going to their ground is one of the most difficult grounds that you can go to. They're established Premier League team with a great coach, and we drew. The problem here is that there's so much spin, and the media is already out, and what we need to do is try to cut through it. So this is why it's important to do these sorts of shows and talk about it. Now, obviously, the Garnacho stuff is different. That is its own separate thing. Anthony is its own thing. But when we're talking about Mainoo, the media absolutely love to get the knives. They want us to give this player away. They want us to fail. And this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to derail the season. They infect our fan base. And I don't blame our fan base, because there's so many messages. What this club need to do is come out and shut this down. And I don't know why they don't. Any other club right now would come out and put a statement and say, look, Fernandez is not going anywhere. As much as I think he will do, Mainoo is not going anywhere. Why aren't we putting these statements out? Why isn't Wilcox or someone else coming out and saying Mainoo is staying at this club? So people like Mike Keegan, who get a sniff of this, maybe it's been talked about, maybe it is true, but we need to shut this down as a club early and say, look, we're not selling our players for a pittance. Mainoo's not going anywhere, and we need to be that club. But right now, I almost think we do it for clicks because we absolutely love a click. Does he remember Van Nistelrooy? Haha, bro, he looks like Nistelrooy's brother. I get that quite a bit. United beat City for the FA Cup, knocked out Liverpool and Arsenal too. Emmy, FA Cup, what? Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, an FA Cup, I mean, and this is not a dig at you, Benja. What have Arsenal won? Like, all I'm saying is what have Arsenal won? So, as much as they're playing well and they finish second, nobody remembers second place. So, it's not a dig, but you've got to look at context. Look at Spurs, right? Spurs have won more European Cups than Arteta has. Spurs had the better season than Arsenal last season. So I just think, Benja, just I think you need to placate that and just be very careful. Arsenal are a great team. They've got more chance of winning the league and a cup than us. But just remember what happened last season and what's happened previously, because the press are very anti United. They see fans going off with the Mainoo stuff, and now they're raising the fan base. Exactly, Joel. I think when it comes to the Mainoo stuff, I think it's really I'm calm on Mainoo. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be a really important player for us. I think he's super easy. As you say, the press love a wind up, and this fan base, again, we're so starved of wins, we're so starved of stuff that we just get wound up easy, right? We're so tetchy because but it's the media, it's the narrative of the media that are telling us we're not doing really well. I'm not really concerned though. That Fulham game, madness, right? I absolutely criticised the team for that, but it's only 2 games of the season. We go on to the next game. We could win the next 4 games. So what's going to happen then if we win the next 4 games? Is the fan base then going to go back and say, "Oh, we're going to win the league"? We just need consistency. Let's take each game as it comes and let's assess each game and see where we are. But ultimately, what we need is let's back this manager until there comes to a point where it's untenable, and then we can all just go, look, we did our job. We backed the manager. We backed the players. And then if it's time to go, it's time to go. But I think we just need this consistency. The lineup for tomorrow will be Bienda, Fredrickson, Maguire, Heaven, Delo, Leon, Emmy. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Perfect. I've taken a screenshot of that because I think that's an interesting one. I don't disagree with that. I think he needs to put in. Fernandes is going to play. Fernandes is playing. If Fernandes plays for me tomorrow, then he's got a clause in his contract, 100%. I think Fernandes needs to be dropped tomorrow, even if he's dropped to send a message to him to say, look, if you don't buck it up, then you're going. I remember thinking Ireland was going to win the World Cup in '94. They did well, but nowhere. I remember Ray Houghton, Martin Fay. I love that World Cup. That for me was an amazing World Cup. You had Romania, Bulgaria, Sweden. I remember Sweden doing really well as well. I remember Ray Houghton. I remember that goal that he scored against Italy, I think it was, and they won 1-0. Amazing World Cup. I remember Hadji, Popescu. Can't remember who else they had in the team, but you had Lechkov, Stoichkov for Bulgaria. You had Nigeria. You had Amakachi, Sunday, Elise. Amazing players. You had Taribo West as well with that hairstyle. Amazing players. Sweden. You had the Darlene and the Brolin up front, and they got to the semi-final. Romario, just an amazing World Cup. Even the USA team. I remember Saudi as well. So Saudi Arabia were in that World Cup, and I remember some guys scored a goal from the halfway line. I love that World Cup. Amazing World Cup. I've heard Anana will be playing, Joe. It doesn't surprise me. Emmy, you're trying to say if FA Cup isn't a major trophy now, United CYP, if United let Kobbie leave, the club is done. I think it's not a good look. I think it's a risky move by Amorin to let Kobbie Mainoo go. I don't agree the club is done. I mean, I don't do like sensationalist, right? If that's what you think, my friend, I get why you think that. I really, really do. But for me, if Kobbie Mainoo goes and Garnacho goes, Garnacho I think staying by the way. If Kobbie Mainoo goes, it's a very, very sad day for me. I think things get worse because how can you have a young player, 20 years old, only just 20 years old? If you look at his stats, right? So for take-ons, 90th percent, touches in the opponent's box or half, 92%, progressive passes, 84, tackles, 72. I mean, the kid, he's 20 years old. I mean, those stats are ridiculous. Like, he's going to be good. We're crying out for a ball-carrying, progressive passer who can tackle as a number 8. Mainoo is that. Whether or not he just needs time, like I always say, I think we burnt him a little bit. Maybe we need to, like I say, he still needs time to grow. He's 5'9". He's not the biggest, but he still needs time to grow. He needs time to grow into his body. He needs his hamstrings to grow a little bit more. His calves, he's not a Rooney who's pretty much made at 16 years old. He needs time. So I think give him another year, 18 months, I think he'll be a completely different player. And I think we'll be talking about one of the best players in the world. United are done if we sell Mainoo. It does make me worry. Do we not have to worry about PSR at all for the next few years? No. If you look at PSR, right, so there's two things with PSR, which is different from the FFP. So PSR, for PSR, we've got two accounts. So on their stock exchange, we've lost, I think, like 100 million. But what we use is something called, I think it's like Red Football is called, and it's based in the Cayman Islands. We're absolutely fine for PSR. We could spend 300 million, would even batter an eye. So for PSR, we're absolutely covered. We're fine. It's just FFP that we need to adhere to. Martin Fay, do you use Patty Bonner doing that? Patty Bonner, yeah. I remember that. And the coach was Jackie Charlton, was it? Yeah, mate. Like happy times. Mate, are you bloody high? What, me? In what respects? Give me more context. I'm miles better than Bruno in that position. I agree with you. Sorry, but Amorin needs to go. 28 points from 29 games. 1 goal, open play, 25. 1 formation. I'm sorry, but I'm done with him. I can't. Again, you've got to go with what you believe. And people, we're never going to agree in this fan base, right? But I think we have to come to some sort of compromise, right? Is if he needs to go, and let's just say, Emmy, that he does need to go, right? Let's just say that you're right. Where do we go? We've signed another 3 players, possibly 4. In fact, he's would have signed 6 players. For another manager to come in, they need to learn another system. Amorin didn't create this mess. He came in. They've asked him to play a completely different system with a team he didn't build. What's he supposed to do? Like this is my only thing to this, is that this is not his team. As far as I'm concerned, last season is a blank slate, right? He didn't cause that. The final is probably on him, but I just can't see as a fan base how he can go. He came in midway through a season with 10 ARGS players. They spent a load of money on his players. They used to play a different system. They hired Amorin to play this specific system without giving him the players. Didn't give him the players to do it. He's playing with a Luke Shaw who's awful, Mason Mount who is injured. Like, what's what's he supposed to do? And I get it; it doesn't look great, but I just don't think it's fair. I just don't think he's had the time. And I get it. I get it. I do get it that we're starved in this fan base. But when do we say no? When do we go, enough is enough? We've got to give this guy time. And who's to say if we don't, let's just say we get to Christmas time and we're like 8th and we're a couple of points off, right? Imagine if we give him that time, will you come back and say, well, actually, maybe I was a bit hasty? I don't want to say that you were wrong, because I think that's the wrong way to view this, right? Is I would say if Amorin went on to win the league, I would never call you out or say that you're wrong. It's just at this moment in time, you think in a particular way. But would you, if they finish first, come back and say, look, maybe I was a bit hasty, maybe I was, based on my opinion at the time, I felt like I was right. But then would you come back and then give him the praise? And that's sort of where I'm at on it. Why would we let Mainoo go? I think that we'd let him go for money. I don't think we would. I don't think that we will. But I think it'd be a very naive and silly thing. JB's high in life. Yes, I am, my friend. Bring me Simeone, Zidane, Nagelsmann, even Sean Dyche at this point. Simeone would bore you to death. Zidane's never coming. Zidane is a Pep. He needs players. Nagelsmann would probably do something. But what? Let me ask you a question, Emmy, right? And I promise you, this is not a dig. This is just a question, right? What do you think Nagelsmann is going to do, for example, with a Luke Shaw who's 30, who's more injury prone, who is going to be injured again, who's not the player that he was? Mason Mount, what's he going to do with Mason Mount? He's not the Mason Mount that he was. It doesn't matter. You can't do anything with Mason Mount. Delo, what's he going to do with him? Like, these players, you can't. What's he going to do with Fernandes? Like, I think it's very naive, and I'm not disrespecting your ideas, but it's very naive to think that a coach can come in and coach these players to suddenly become the world's best players. It's not going to happen, because they're not. And that's the problem that we've got. We've got an accumulation of low IQ, injury prone, low mentality players. And we're not going to progress as a club until we get rid of those players. Until Fernandes goes, until we have a completely fresh start and a reset of these players. But it does include keeping Mainoo, does include keeping some of these younger players. But until that happens, I don't understand what any coach in the world can do with these players. I just don't see it. A new season, what was done in the past stays there. Let's see. Exactly, Joel. Absolutely. To be fair, Mount has been one of the best players. This is where, and Jar was a legend of the chat. I completely respect what he says. I disagree with Mason Mount. From what I see with Mason Mount right now, when he came into the midfield, it wasn't his fault. He was asked to do a job. We got ran through. He's not aggressive enough. He's not energetic enough. He can't move in that way. He can't tackle. He's lightweight. When he's forward, he does some really good touches, right? You sort of give him that ball, and in that 2x2, 3x3 square, he's very good. He's very good at getting away from players in that square. He reminds me of Mata towards the end, when Mata had no pace, and he played in that square, right? Mason Mount, for me, flatters to deceive. And what I mean is that in that little square, he looks really lively. He looks like he can move, and he does these nice flicks and kicks. But he does nothing else. He literally, what else has he done? He's looked lively and he looks okay, but I just don't see what he's doing. Where's the pass to Cunha? Like, where's the through ball? Where's the ball like over the top? Like, where's the to feet to Cunha? Like, I'm just not seeing it. Joe, I'm hoping Mason Mount. I'm hoping of all the players, Mason, he deserves it. He's a young guy. He deserves to come back. I just don't think he can. I just think his injury is too significant. But I do hope you're right. Ishman says United were the giants of English football, but the giants have fallen before. Forest in the 70s, Liverpool in the 80s. It's not sustainable to fail on the pitch much longer before you fail too. I disagree completely, my friend. Valid opinion. Difference is Liverpool were never fallen. What I mean by that is there's still a big club stayed in the Premier League. Forest, what happened to them was I don't know what happened. They had a good manager. Did they have the infrastructure at the time to remain? No. And then after that, after Cloughie left and and those players left, they were never a giant in that respect. They had a good team and they did some amazing things. We have been terrible for 13 years, but we still bring in the money. Even if we were in the Championship, we'd still be the biggest club in it. We would still make the same amount of money. There are some times in life where you just get things, because don't forget, we transcend football. We are a brand, right? And whatever happened in this life, unless we go bankrupt, which we will never do, we are a brand. And the brand deals that we have, even if we finished in the Championship, we'd still be the biggest club, mate. And this is what rival fans can't stand. This is what rival fans need to realise. It's not arrogance, right? I am not here to say we should be the best club in the world. We're very lucky. We're very fortunate to be where we are. Will it last forever? Maybe not. But right now, how can you be an irrelevant club on the pitch, but we be the most talked about, most relevant club in England? Like Liverpool spent God knows how much money. Like City won 3 cups. They did the treble. No one talks about it. It was straight back onto us. And whether rival fans like it or not, that is what it is. That is not me. That is not our fault. That is just how it is right now. Will it change? Possibly. But whatever we do, the media and other fans fixated on this club. And it's great for us, but there are ups and downs. And that is just the way it is right now. Scott Bramley says, when Amorin gets his players and shit out this club, he will back. Scott, I agree with you. Jason Muller, he says, hi, I'm going to remove, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance, right? I'm going to delete those comments, but I'll give you a chance, right? I'll give you a chance, right? One chance, because this community doesn't need that on here, Jason, but I'll give you a chance, right? Amorin needs to go to his formation. It's not good. Our players will need a new coach that can play 4-4-2. David, a good observation, but I disagree. We cannot change our formation based on the players. Where I would accept as that Amorin needs to tweak his system, but we cannot we can't accommodate these players. We've been doing it for 13 years. We cannot do it. That is what's destroying this club, is that maybe United have got the wrong coaching. That's not his fault. Maybe we should have gone for a more simplistic coach and built a team, but we haven't. We've been ambitious and we've gone for this coach. I just think that those of us who are going to just be consistent, just be calm. I think ultimately, in the end, it will be shown that our patience will have paid off. Joel says, oh, I did not know De Ligt was the man of the match. At least SofaScore, who are maybe the best site. I thought De Ligt, Euro were magnificent. I think they've been the absolute best pairing that we've had for a very, 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 very long time. And I agree with that completely. 1 inch wonder, Amorin caught 1 inch wonder. As much as right, that is funny. Right, that is funny, but I've got to remove the comment, mate. I'm obliged to, okay, but that has made me laugh. Mainly just wants to play. I agree. the Rasmus deal could fall through because of the United obligation without conditions. But again, though, we need to be true to ourselves. We shouldn't be keep kicking these problems down the road. I think we need to do the deal. I think even if it's a obligation to buy and like the buyout might be 5 to 10 million, I don't agree with it. But we need to get these players gone. And Joel, you could be right, my friend. We need to do something because we are right now. We are failing, and we'll go over when the transfer window shuts. We will go over what we think of the window. You do speak sense, mate, especially Mainoo. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. I think all of us do. I mean, thank you, because I am the one that talks, right? But I think all of us in this community, we all speak sense in some way. It's just about opinion, but I think we all give our opinions, and I think we're quite balanced on here, Ryan. Usman says, really enjoyed listening to you. You deserve a national platform. Last question: who is your all-time Premier League player in each position? Thank you, Usman. That's very, very kind, my friend. Goalkeeper for me, all-time goalkeeper would be. I don't want to be biased. I'll try not to be biased on this one, right? So, all-time goalkeeper for me. Who do I think is the best goalkeeper of all time? Oh, sorry, all-time Prem. Okay, Prem. Schmeichel for me. I think Czech has got a shout. I think Alisson's probably got a shout as well now. But for me, I think that you could probably argue Never Southall's in there as well. There's so many good keepers in there. Van der Sar. I'm just trying to go through and think. Seaman as well is probably in there. I'm just trying to think of all the keepers in there. But for me, Schmeichel, and I'm going to try not to be biased on this one, but Schmeichel for me. Defender. Oh, you can argue. Again, I'm just trying to go. You've got Terry, you've got Carvalho, you've got Van Dijk, you've got Vidic, Rio. For me, you've got Steve Bruce is in there as well. Pallister's in there. Yap Stam is in there. Trying to think of some Arsenal ones. You could have Sol Campbell. You could have Keown. You could have Adams in there as well. Adams was fantastic. I'm just trying to go through teams as well. We've got Everton. I'm just trying to think. Any Everton's ones that stand out? Probably not. Aston Villa. Where are we? Chelsea, Liverpool, United, City. Company. You've got to give Company his dues as well. I'd probably go for Vidic. For me, I'm trying not to be biased. I really am, but I find it very, very difficult to shy away from that. I think for me, it'd be a toss-up between Vidic and Terry. I think Terry was a very, very good defender. Gets his head in front of anything that guy would header a brick wall. So for me, I think you could go between Rio, Vidic, Terry. For me, midfielder. For me, it's Roy Keane. Again, I find it really hard not to be biased, but for me, it's Roy Keane. Scousy, Gerrard, Lampard. I mean, God, there's so many players. Arsenal would have a few in there as well. Vieira, what a player he was. Chelsea have got some in there as well. Lampard, Makalele. So many good players in there. But for me, Schmeichel, Vidic, Keane, and going forward, I would say Omri. Rooney, you can argue Rooney as well, but for me, Omri. I loved Omri. I thought he was amazing. I just thought he was so different. Could score a goal from anywhere. Rooney, yes. You can argue Rooney, Omri, Drogba, Aguero would even get in there as well. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Fowler. Fowler was an immense talent. Michael Owen, Ian Rush. Just trying to think who else. There's so many good strikers. Rude, Vardy. I'd even say Vardy. You could put him in there. You could put Kane in there as well. You could put Defoe in there. Klinsmann in there. God, you could put so many players in there. Ridiculous. But for me, it would probably be Henry, my friend. Luke Turner says, still won't win out whiny no matter how much you spend on mediocre players. Thank you, Leek. I appreciate that, my friend. Babatune says, very good question, Scott. Yeah, it is. Ken Kenzie says, Lamens will come. Yeah, I agree with you completely. What's the question tonight? So tonight is basically, will Kobbie go to Real Madrid? Will we get rid of Kobbie? So Mike Keegan, whether we like it or not, Mike Keegan is a respected guy, right? The Daily Mail, Keegan is a respected guy. He's very, very hit and miss. Very, very, very hit and miss, right? But he's reporting that Mainoo could be a subject of a loan from Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's what he's reporting. That's what he's going with. We're not shutting it down, and I think that we absolutely should. And Garnacho, it may fall through. It's been reported by, it is Fabrizio, that, or is it Ornstein? One of the two. And Chelsea are going for Lopez from Barcelona, and 50 million. And it looks like that if they go for him, that's Garnacho done, and Lopez and Xavi Simons just gone as well. So as we spoke about, Garnacho is playing a really dangerous game, and I think he might lose this one. And I think we need to hold firm, and he may end up sitting on the bench and writing for the next year. So we will see. He may end up going to Saudi. He may end up going to Bayern Munich, but he's playing a dangerous game, mate. What are you saying? Like, what team do you support? I can't even see what you said in there. What team do you support, Luke? Very good question. What's the question tonight? Big up JB. Danny B's in the house. Legend of the chat. Legend. Are there any updates on when the Garnacho deal will be complete? So MMU, it has taken a turn tonight. It's taken a turn tonight that Chelsea have turned their attentions to Fermin, to Lopez from Barcelona. Euros, 50 million euros. He plays on the left-hand side. He plays as a left winger or on that left-hand side. That means if they go for him, they are low cutting to Barcelona as well, because Barcelona, I think they value him about 70. They're trying to lowball him because Barcelona need the money as well. So if this goes through, Garnacho is done and dusted. So Romano is saying that this deal is done. It's going to be complete. Ornstein is saying that it's not. And Barcelona are going in for a bid. So this is, we're seeing loggerheads between Fabrizio and Ornstein on this one. So it's going to be interesting. I'm keeping my eye on this one. I want Garnacho to go, but he's playing a very, very dangerous game. I think we need to build from the ground up. Yeah, Luke, mate, agree completely with you on that one. I think we need to build from the ground up. So Gamalo Shadell says, get the likes up. 61 people on here. Come on, love. Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, just double tap. It literally costs you nothing, right? It helps this channel out. It pushes us out there, pushes this amazing community out there. This chat tonight, again, this chat gets better and better and better, right? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how good this is. I like Mount. I think he's attacking. He can pass. He's tenacious, but I think he needs a proper striker like Giroud, Kane, or target man. Obviously, I don't share your opinion on that one, but let's see. He's going to play Mason Mount, so let's see if Mason Mount can grow into that position. Hopefully, I'm wrong on that. I want to see, like, whenever I criticize or critique a player, doesn't mean I dislike the player. Doesn't mean that I hate the player. I don't do that. It just means that I want to see a better player. And if my criticism of Mason Mount is then wrong, I will hold my hands up and say, you know, Mason, I just really hope Mason Mount can become, he seems like a really nice lad. He seems like he's a talented player. I just hope the injuries haven't destroyed his career. Gary Chan says, when a good pass comes in there, not enough space to finish in the box. This happens. They don't play the ball to feet. I mean, Bruno loves an absolute 50-yard ball. Bruno, for me, is the most contentious, influential player in this team, and his attitude destroys this team. So if we can fix that, then I think we can do well. Do you have to remember he was pivotal in Gareth's previous England side? I do, but Mason Mount's injured. Mason Mount has got a career-threatening injury. This has been completely been established. He needs to have an operation at some point, but I hope that Mason Mount comes back. If Mason Mount gets back to like how he was, we've signed a fantastic player. It will be a good piece of business. I just want him to get back there. Right now, he's not for me, but I want him to get back there. Forest are on the up. The Giants have awoken. Forest, I've got a lot of time for Forest. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're going to be back up, mate. I'm glad. I think Forest's ambition was to stay in the league. I'm really glad that they are back in this league and they deserve it, as do teams as well. But I just think that it's nice to see teams like Leeds, even though I'm a United fan, and I want as many rivals and as many great teams up there as possibly can. So I think that having a Nottingham Forest back, I think would be brilliant. I'd love Forest to win the league. I think it'd be brilliant. I'd love to see more different teams win the league. A fantastic team, and I really hope they do well this season. Mount was our second best player against Fulham. He had a rating of 7.2, had 2 key passes, won 4 out of 6 ground duels. For some reason, he managed to win 1 out of 2 duels. He had 2 tackles. Maybe for me, Joel, I think maybe right now, I think I'm just not sold on Mount right now. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I will quote stats, but I will also think that nothing beats the eye test, right? Fernandez's stats are phenomenal, but it doesn't excuse what he does on the pitch and the sort of eye test and the impact on the pitch. But where I agree with you, the last 2 comments there, Mason Mount deserves his chance. If he stays fit, and I agree with you, he looks one of the liveliest, one of the better players. Let's see what he can do. I'm hoping that he can come back, and I worry about. I jump on board the Mason Mount train, and he gets injured again. That is my worry. Is that I start to like Mason Mount, and then he's out again. I'll support him whenever he does things right. This is not an agenda from me. If he keeps playing consistent and better and better and better, I'll be happy. I really, really will be. And counting 3-4-3 sucks on most days. I think Mount likes to link up with players. Not many are good. Fantastic point, Luke Turner. Your relegation battlers now. Luke, come on, buddy. I know it's late. Well, it's late here anyway, but genuinely, we're not. We're just not, right? I mean, we're just not going to be, are we? It's just, I'm not going to argue that with you. If that's your opinion, then that's your opinion, but we're absolutely not. So, yeah, we're not, are we? I mean, think about it in this way. We're 2 points behind City. Are they in a relegation battle as well? We're 4 points behind Chelsea if we beat them next. So if we beat City and we beat Chelsea, then we go above them too. That's all I'm saying. It's still too early. Come back to me or come back to the channel in Christmas time, right? And if we're playing awful and we're back down the bottom, by all means, come on and say ha ha ha. But right now, I think it's really nice because that sort of comment can come and bite you back on the arse, right? That's all I'm saying. If this Ruben guy gets the sacked, we should go get Xavi Hernandez for the next manager. No, not for me, mate. Xavi for me, is not it. We need. I think I. If you're asking me who I would get, I like Eddie Howe. I like what he's done at a big club. I think Eddie Howe should get his chance, and I like Eddie Howe. Talked about because everyone's so Danny A talked about because everyone is laughing at you. Probably Danny. I mean, I don't mind the banter, mate. I think it's probably are, but like at times it is. You look at that Fulham game, right? I would laugh at a team. I laughed at Arsenal when we absolutely ploughed them into the ground. No, I didn't laugh when they scored, but I laughed at them because they were abjectly awful. I laughed at Liverpool last night when 2 goals up and they were absolutely awful. Again, they went on to win the game. West Ham, awful team. Leeds, I laughed at Arsenal because they couldn't break Leeds down for like half an hour. It doesn't bother us. It doesn't bother me, mate. We are 15th last season. I would, I'd banter us as well, but it's my team, it's our team, and all we can do is just believe and fingers crossed. You may not agree, but we're going to get back up the league. I think it's safe to say. Do you want to give me the reasons why, Luke? I just need more context. If you give me context as to why you think that, so if you give me context, if you give me some points, as in like you think we're going to get relegated because X, Y, and Z, that's fine. But Luke, my friend, it's not, is it, buddy? Most important, he's an English player. I think the way the game is going, the lack of England internationals is on our side. Has been left on the decline since Carrick and Rooney left. I agree. It used to be unheard of to play so many overseas players. People underestimate how Fergie helped British players like Darren Fletcher, Ryan Giggs, Scholes. No, mate, completely agree. I hope Mason. Right, imagine what a redemption for Mason Mount if he could get back into this side consistently and get back playing in the World Cup, mate. That would, for me, would be perfect. I'd love to see that. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. I'd love to see him like go to the World Cup. I think I'd be so proud of him. I think that would be amazing. Mustafa, salam alaikum. Welcome, my friends. Michael 67 says hi, hello buddy. Mr. Lambo says 3-4-3 doesn't work in the Premier League. I think you've got a little bit of a point there, my friend. So Guardiola had to buy English players like Cole Walker-Stones, Sterling, and Grealish. You have to have good English players in the league, not to mention PSR and homegrown players. Making some good points tonight, mate. Absolute fantastic points. Michael 67 says hi. How you doing, my friend? What do you think about Turkish teams, the transfers? Mate, I think they've done some amazing stuff. I can't remember all the players that have gone there, but Osimhen, I think, is ambitious, mate. I think Turkish teams. I think a couple of Turkish teams. Obviously, your Fenerbahce's, the Galatasaray's, the Besiktas's. Great. It's good. It's good for the game. I think it's really good for the game. I think we're too easy in this country to call for leagues like the Farmers League and all that kind of stuff, right? I do agree that the consistency and the level in the Premier League is the best in the world, right? But it doesn't mean to say that the top teams in the rest of the league are not as good as ours, right? So I admire what they've done tonight. What about Red Star out tonight? I didn't see that, my friend. Turkish League is corruption according to Jose Mourinho. Jose, mate. Vidic is a Red Star player. I don't know what happened to them, mate. I didn't see any of it tonight. I was putting my kids to bed, so I have no idea. Why didn't you answer my question? I've just answered it, my friend. I've just answered your question. Right, Shearer. How can I forget Shearer? Shearer, yeah. Suarez, again, thinking of players off the top of my head, but how can I forget Shearer? What an idiot. Shearer, do I think Shearer was the best striker? I don't disagree with that, but for me, I think Henry was the Henry was just different class for me. Shearer was an out and out number 9. What a player! I'd have him in any of my teams any day of the week. He's probably equal number 1, but for me, Henry was just someone else. He just had it all. And Henry on his day was unplayable. Suarez as well. I mean, Suarez was a baller. Suarez was, I mean, some of the things that he could do was unbelievable. And this is why I think it's really personal to you. But Suarez, I can't argue with that. Shearer, there's so many good players. Can't believe he. I can't believe he forgot about the top scorer. I know. It is embarrassing, right? It is embarrassing. Give me my dues. Asked on the fly, and I'm 42 years old. The brain isn't quite what it was. I'm tired. That's my. I'm just trying to find an excuse now, but no, you're right. Shearer is up there as well, mate. Yeah. If you could take 2 players from any other team that would make the difference for United getting into Champions League, who would you take? Who would I take? I take Alisson in goal. I think I think that's what we need. Midfield player. Bloody hell. I'm just trying to think who's the best that sort of midfield player that we need. Obviously, a Baleba, maybe. But Alisson in goal. Just trying to think who City have got in the midfield. Liverpool, McAllister, maybe. Baleba. Bruno from Newcastle. I do like him a lot. So Bruno G from Newcastle as well. So I think we need a midfielder. So I'd go one of those and a keeper in goal. Would you agree that we need to invest in the stadium if we're not going to build a new one anytime soon? I think we need to, Ryan. It's embarrassing. I went there. Can't remember which game it was last season, but it pissed down the rain. And honestly, when they're talking about a leaky roof, it is disgusting. Like, it is embarrassing. Like, when I'm on here saying we're one of the biggest clubs in the world, etc., we are, but our stadium is an absolute joke. The toilets flood. The roof leaks. It is an embarrassment. I agree heavily that we need to invest in the stadium. I think we should invest in it completely. It's been destroyed so badly that we can't fix it. But I do agree that we need to invest in it. Joel, I agree with that. The first guy actually walked up to Leon when he arrived was Mount, and when he met the team. I think Mount is such a good guy. I really hope he comes good. Like, as one of the players, it would be such a redemption arc, successful, and I would celebrate it. I think Mount is. I just hope he can get back. I really, really do, my friend. I really, really do. Come on, Dinez. Most agree with that statement. Don't spam. Yeah, exactly. I was delighted with the result last night, but it covered a lot of issues. Graz, thank you for being here. Liverpool just know how to win, right? I mean, there are a lot of issues, I think, this season. But don't forget, you're rebuilding the club again. You've got some good players. Liverpool will come good. There's no doubt about that. But that's what champions do, mate. Champions win, and that's what you do. So maybe it wasn't the best last night, but mate, you've got an envious fan here. I wish we had your problems. I really do. But yeah. Newcastle with 10 men absolutely walloped you last night, but Liverpool know how to win games. You've got game winners. You've got a good team there as well. So I won't be too worried, mate. I think Liverpool are. I wish we had your problems. Surasan says Rubin shouldn't be adamant with his strategy. He's got to change, as we might end up to lose good players. Yeah, I don't disagree, mate. I think that I think he needs to tweak his formation. I don't think we should accommodate these players, but I do think that we should tweak it completely. Ryan says, "Do you like how Slot can change the system?" I do. I think This is what I think about Amorin, right? I don't know how old Slot is. I think is Slot like late 40s, early 50s. Amorin is a very young manager. He's 40 years old, right? He's younger than me, more successful than me, probably smarter than me as well, right? But even I know that I would tweak his system. The problem is he's so young. If you see Amorin in 10 years' time or in 5 years' time, his system will not be the same. The core of his system will be the same, but he'll tweak it. It's very rare that managers, maybe Pep is maybe the sort of odd one out here, is that you only really see them becoming good and when they get older. So Eddie Howe probably is one of the perfect examples of that. He's developed his system, and you look at him now. Even Klopp as well. Klopp had to start out. All these managers have their systems, their principles, but they develop. And Amorin doesn't have that, right? Like now, he that's the one thing that he needs to learn is to tweak his system. And it's not pandering to the players. It's a tactical switch that you are trying to adapt, right? And that's what he needs to learn. He's a young guy, and he needs to learn to adapt in game. He needs to learn to adapt the system to the players. You can still have your principles, but whilst we don't have the players, he needs to adapt. And this is why I agree with that. The system for me is not working. The manager needs to be more flexible and give 4-3. Tomorrow's game would be exactly, Rob, mate. Absolutely. I think Amorin needs to learn for us to adapt. I agree, Ryan. I think you're spot on. I'm hyped for another JB What's Along tomorrow. Thank you, mate. Liverpool, lucky baskets. I love it. Sir Alex Bread and Butter was 442. Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing. So just before I go again, these shows, I love them completely. I an hour and a half just goes like that. I love the chat. I think you guys in the chat, what do you think of Chelsea, Adam? So I think Chelsea, I don't know right now, because against West Ham scored a goal first. They drew the first game against Palace. Okay, doesn't really mean a lot. I think Chelsea's back four is not great. So tossing in there is his name is right. I don't think he's particularly good. I don't think their back four is particularly good. Sanchez is really good in goal, but Chelsea have enough players that if Chelsea click, at some point they will. Don't sleep on Chelsea. I don't think they will do it this season. I think maybe they'll be around 4th, 5th, 6th again. But don't sleep on Chelsea, because the moment that they click, they spent so much money on players. That 5-1 win will be given so much confidence in that team that I just think that right now, I think your back four will let you down, but you're going forward. I think you're going to be good. So I would say don't sleep on Chelsea, because I think that they've got a decent coach. They've got a bunch of players. They just need to formulate a team that can be consistent. And once you have that, I think it's. So the Crowd Squad says hi, mate. So Gabby Beds, hello, my friend. Crowd Squad says Super Spurs, mate. What can you say? 16th last season, like first or second now, mate. Hats off to Spurs, right? I've got no issue with Spurs. They Big Ange taught us a lesson in the final. He lived up to his claim. We didn't get schooled. The final was absolutely awful. Spurs was shocking. We were even worse. Spurs were missing 5 of their best players, and we were all absolutely awful final. But Spurs have done something about it, and good luck to you, mate. I think there's some teams that like Spurs. Imagine if Spurs won the league, right? It'd be good. I think it'd be great. There are some teams that you want to win the league or to do well. So Spurs, for me, I think are one of those teams whereby they've wanted success through so many years, right? And if they can get it, I don't think, other than Arsenal, Chelsea fans, I think that most of the league would support that. I think it would be, I think it would be good, and I've got no issue with that at all. Carlos, where are United placing? At the moment I place them somewhere between 8th and 10th. I think 9th. I think that's where I go, and that is 9th. Any idea about a Niners situation? Are we signing a keeper? Yes, we are. Lament is going to come in. I think what we're doing with that signing is that we are just holding it back for the deadline day, because in case we don't sign anybody else, we'll announce a main contract, I think, and we'll probably announce Lament as well, and it'll be like a brand new signing. So, yeah, EA Sports, the game, amazing. I played FIFA, the very first FIFA back in '94. Amazing game. So Georgie, I can't pronounce your name, friend. It says hi, hello, legend of the chat. JB, would you play tomorrow? Okay. Who would you play tomorrow, and what's your score prediction? Sesko for me has to start. Drop Fernandez and start Mainoo. So my team tomorrow, off the top of my head, would be I'm a Chelsea fan, and I'm a bit frightened by Spurs. That's saying they just look solid under Thomas the Frank Engine. Adam Saul, welcome, my friend. Hilarious. I think Chelsea, because you're going with, I still think Chelsea are going through a little bit of a transition. You're just trying to find that consistency, right? Mate, it's the first two games. It's the first two games of the season. I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, Spurs had a good start with Ange as well, right? So I think it's all up. I think let's wait till game 5 at least. But I wouldn't worry about Spurs just yet. I think Chelsea will come good. I think Spurs are going to be good this season as well, but I think that you sort of almost need to give it a couple of games, and I just think that again. But the problem is Spurs are going to be buoyed by the City win, aren't they, as well? So I think it's going to be good, mate. I think it's going to be a good battle this season. I probably almost think that 3rd, 4th, 5th will be an interesting one, mate. But I'd say, yeah, mate, it's only 2 games of the season. Give it until game 5, and then let's see, right? But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be worried just yet. Big Frank. Who would I play tomorrow? I'd like to think the score tomorrow would be 4-0. No disrespect to Grimsby. I want to see a good win. I think Binder in goal. I think he goes Heaven, Maguire, maybe Shaw. Maybe Shaw again. Maybe he gives him a rest. But is Mazraoui fit? I don't know. But I think he'll give games to Mazraoui if he's fit. Maguire and Heaven. You may see someone else in there. I can't remember what that defender's name is now, but we've got a young guy. Let's see. And then I think he goes on the left. I don't know who goes on the left. I think maybe a youth play goes on the left. I think Deloy will go on the right because he hasn't played that much. I think he goes Mainoo. I think he goes Fernandez. Fernandez is playing. I think he'll go Mainoo in there as well. And then I think he goes Shesko up front. I think Mbeumo's going to play. I think Cunha's going to play. I think Shesko. I think Mbeumo will play. No, sorry, I disagree with that. I think Mason Mount will play, Mbeumo will play, and Shesko will play, because I think Mbeumo needs the game time. I think Mason Mount, maybe he manages his minutes. I don't know, but maybe he splits it. So I think 4-0 tomorrow. I do hope it's more. I think we need a win. I think we need a really, really big win. But I'm hoping to see some youth players tomorrow as well. Do I know Galatasaray? Yes, I do. Galatasaray are a big team. I do agree with that, my friend. 2-3 to Galatasaray. Cardi. Bo says Spurs fan. don't have the depth unless we get another 3 signings. Once the other comps kick in, we'll struggle. I think Eze, I think for me was, I mean, I get it, but Eze for me would have been the one. I do think Spurs need more depth. I think you're right, mate. I think you're spot on. Yeah, I mean, you're a bit light up front. I think Solanke and Richarlison. I can't remember who else you've got up front. I don't know. I think you've got enough. I think you've got a good enough squad for the Premier League. But again, Newcastle might suffer with that as well. You know, I think that. Are you a new channel? We are, mate. We've been going for 2 months. Going for about 2 months, Gary. Nearly coming up for 10,000. You know, we're doing really well, and that's because of this community. You know, this channel is reasonably new. You know, we've been going for, I think it's 2 months now. I'm blown away by the support, by the amount of people in the chat. It's absolutely fantastic. You know, we are. This channel is nothing without you guys, and it doesn't matter what. It matters about the chat, of course it does, right? But you know, it matters about respect on this channel, and it doesn't matter if you support Spurs, Liverpool, what you know. I'll chat to you guys, and you know, it's really interesting for me to see what rival fans think of this club. And I will always be fair. And you know, I'm not a United fan. You know, I'm very a logical person. You know, and where I see success and where I see where people do well, you know, I'm not afraid to say it. No, I don't think it's really important on here to champion people as well. So I'm going to go, guys. An hour and 45 minutes, I think, is ridiculously long in terms of length of time, but it's gone so fast. And that's because of the chat. You know, what I will always say is I thank you guys so much. Now, I normally go through all of the names, but I mean, the chat is now so big. All I can say is I thank every single person on here. Is this real? Honestly, right? Is this real? If I'm the best that AI can come up with, then AI needs a tinker. That's all I'm saying, mate. Is if this is real, right? If I am AI, then AI needs to like have an upgrade, because I wouldn't make me from AI, right? But yeah, guys, I mean, I thank you, Bo. How solid is this info? No, I know you mean that. It's just a joke, right? Look, I'm a dad, and my jokes are awful, right? In terms of Garnacho, okay, so I'll go over this once more before I go, and then I'll bid you guys good night. Is Mike Keegan, respected guy, you know, he doesn't get things right all the time, but his information and what he's coming out with is that maybe Mainoo there's a loan with Real Madrid, potentially with Atletico as well. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not disputing Keegan, but I just don't think it's quite right. Romano and Ornstein, the two big guys who are loggerheads on this one. Romano, is Mike Keegan as good as Beverly? Nah, he's not, mate. He's not. I mean, he's respected. He's the lead journalist at Daily Mail. So, you know, all I'm saying is, you know, he gets stuff. They're sort of up and down, but he's not an Ornstein. So, Romano, Ornstein. So, Romano is saying that Garnacho, the deal is done pretty much. Adam, so exactly. Fabrizio is the GOAT, right? So, Fabrizio is saying that Garnacho, the deal is ready to go. Everything's agreed. They just need to agree on price. Now, Ornstein, you need to realise with Ornstein, he is the mouthpiece of the club. Fabrizio isn't. They give him stuff because he's got a massive, you know, when they want a favour doing, you know, Fabrizio is massive, you know, so it makes sense to give him stuff, right? but Ornstein is really close to the club. He gets stuff, and he is the mouthpiece of the club now. He's saying that Chelsea have put in a bid for Lopez for 50 million, right? And if they do that and they go for him, Garnacho's done. Garnacho isn't there. So the fact that Ornstein is saying that, it just means that there is something in it. So Hugh G. Rection says, what's your opinion with the beef between Garnacho and Mike Hogsard? Would appreciate a shout out. Of course, my friend. I shout you guys out as much as I possibly can. I just think Garnacho is petulant, mate. I think anybody that says anything bad about him, Liam Mills, another legend of the chat there, Garnacho is petulant, mate. He's just a child. He's just anybody that doesn't agree with him, anyone that calls him out, anyone that just doesn't get on the hype train, he's got beef with everybody, you know. Unless you are on his hype train, how many videos do you make a day? It really does depend. I think today, right, I did 3 videos and I deleted one, basically because I started a stream. YouTube was crap. I did this and then I deleted the wrong one. But normally I tend to do about 3 a day. So I'll do like a morning show, and then I'll do maybe like an afternoon. But if anything breaks, I tend to come on. So it could be 2, could be 4, could be 3. At the moment, it's not consistent because obviously this is new. And if this becomes my job at some point, then of course, you know, I will do more consistently. You know, but right now it's I just stream as and when, you know, things happen. You know, I've streamed in my car when things break, you know, when anything happens. If I'm out and about, I'll stream. So yeah, that's how I am. I'm very responsive. I do try and do a morning show, an afternoon, and then an evening one as well, my friend. What are we doing here as well, Scott Brown? Well, when I first come in the chat, there was like 10 or 15. Now that over a weekend is 50 plus. Exactly. I mean, you guys are just unbelievable, mate. Just unbelievable. God is good. I don't disagree with you, my friend. Don't see the point in the Lopez deal. Would rather just get Simmons through. Exactly, Adam. Simmons as well apparently is might be on, might not happen as well. Yodi says Mainoo explanation, please. Cool. I'll go for it again. Mike Keegan, who is a journalist, respected in some respects, with the Daily Mail in this country. The Daily Mail in this country is years and years old. It's not the best, but Mike Keegan is somebody to take note of. But he's no Fabrizio, he's no Ornstein, and what he's coming out with and saying that Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid are looking at a loan for Mainoo. And if you look at his stats, I can absolutely see why. So let's just keep an eye on this one because it may develop. I don't think it's true. I think this is sensationalist. I think it's because Kobbie. I think they're trying to create something again. You know, they absolutely love Amorin falling out with players. So let's just see where we are on that one. Thanks, mate. Last question: scale of 1 to 10. What's your prediction for the season? I think we finish 9th, mate. I think that we finish 9th. I think we go from 8th to 9th. Hopefully I'm wrong. But I think we finish 9th. Adam Soul says he's coming to the wrong club if you want. He's coming to the wrong club if he wants fans on this hype train because most of us don't want him. Exactly, Adam. And I don't get it, mate. You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, and that's what I've come across as well. Chelsea fans don't seem to want him. We don't want him. We basically kicked him out and we said that we don't want this player. Go and find a move. Why did Chelsea want him? I don't get it. You guys would, I know you would take him to the club, but he's just not it, mate. You've got Pedro, you've got Esteval, you've got Neto. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, mate. And I sort of hope that you don't sign him. I just don't get it, mate. Keep up the work, JB. Like you say, if any bring break, exactly, buddy. Andy Mitten stated that Garnacho to Chelsea is far from done, exactly, and he's on the pulse. Exactly, Liam. Exactly, my friend. So I think there might be something in this. Do you think United will buy Lopez? Yes, I do. Andrew Edwards says, what do you think of Amorin? And if he does God, what do you think of Amorin if he does get let go, and how long will it take for the next manager to transition back to back for after Amorin has gutted the club of wingers? That's a very good question, Andrew. I think that's a very intelligent, I think that's a very good observational question. I don't know, mate. We've got to make it work. We've got to make it work. I don't see how we don't make this work. I mean, I would be another manager coming into this. I think it would be horrific for them. I don't know what they would do with this, mate. I think that's a really intelligent question to ask. How long would it take? I think it'd take another 3-4 years. I think if he goes, I think that what he's done, or what we've done now, is we've changed things so much. You almost need to change them back again. I think it'd be horrific. So I think it would take years. I think it'd take 4 years. Do you think United will buy Lopez? Yes, he is. Is he any good? Yes, he is, Gary. If again, I look at his stats and he is up there with one of the best keepers. Whether he can handle the club, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a very difficult thing to quantify, but he's 6'5". He's very, very broad. Good at coming for crosses, shot stopping. Obviously, he plays in the Belgium league, so it's very difficult. But I think we need to take this chance. So hopefully he'll be very good. But he is coming into this club. Loaning an 80 million player would be ridiculous. 100%, mate. Rob says over 50 million. Over 50 million. I wish. Over 50 are watching. Exactly. Give us a like, a favorite. Thank you, brother. Answer my questions, mate. 100%. I'm all about you guys. Andrew Edwards says most managers these days play 4-4-3-3. Odds on the next manager being back five is minimal. Next manager is going to be stuck with no winger, 7 CBSs, no DM, 6 10s, and 1 striker. Andrew Edwards, I'm going to give you the last comment on that because I think that is brilliant, mate. I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. If we don't make this work, I just don't know. I really, really don't know, my friend. I think that is a brilliant comment to make, and I'll give you the last comment. So I am going to go. You guys have been amazing, fantastic. I don't just say this, right? I don't just say this. These last 2 evenings, the shows have been amazing. So Damien, yeah. So Glasner, yeah, I don't disagree, maybe at some point, but these shows over the last 2 evenings have been some of the proudest that I've done so far, and that's because of you guys. I think your questions are brilliant. You know, some of the banter's good. You know, we're building this community. You know, you're welcome to come on this community, even if you don't support the club. You know, it's all about opinion. You know, I really try to be logical and fair. I try to be balanced. And it's not because I'm not trying to make a decision. It's basically that is just who I am as a person. On this channel, I mean this. This channel is nothing without you guys and the chat. You build this. And it genuinely blows my mind when you guys come on and you're prepared to chat with me. Cheers, Adam. I always say this at the end of every chat because I think it's really, really important. Is that the one thing in life is that you can buy people, you can buy cars, you can buy wives, you can buy houses. The one thing you can't buy is time. And it blows my mind that people give me the time of day. It blows my mind that you give each other the time of day. You come on here, you chat to each other, you get to know each other. And whether you spend a minute, a second, an hour, whatever you spend here is just it blows my mind. It does, and you guys are unbelievable. The next manager probably Southgate. Oh Jesus Christ, Rob. I don't want to end on that one, but yeah. Thank you, everybody. It means so much to me. This channel is getting bigger and bigger, on the way to 10,000. who knows? Who knows where we could end up? And it would be thank you to you guys. It's all thank you to you guys. I'm just a guy that comes on and talks stuff. You guys lead the show. And this is your channel now as much as it is mine. So thank you. Have a good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. And yeah, have a good rest of your day, morning, afternoon. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.